Hello, good morning, and a big shout out to Arthur, and a big thank you for inviting me to respond to the question this morning, which is how to motivate your kids to learn English. So, I guess maybe a few ideas. The first idea that came to mind, to be honest, was a quote by Dale Carnegie, which is, I prefer strawberries and champagne, but fish prefer worms. So when I go fishing, I take worms, not strawberries and champagne. Perhaps there's a compromise there. Perhaps you could take both, but bear in mind that the fish prefer one, not the other. So I think for me, it's kind of the same when I teach English, or at least when I try to teach English, that you just try to find things that the children are interested in. And children are always interested in something, whether it's just running around, playing games, trying to get food, or whatever it is. There's always something that you can find to kind of use as a lever. I mean, you just try to put yourself in a position where if they want something, they kind of have to go through you, and preferably in English. You just try to, you put the little canapes on the table and hopefully they'll take them. The canapes, in this case, being another metaphor for the useful phrases. So an example of that actually was one from a school from years ago, which was just presented two sentences. One, do you like chocolate? Number two, would you like chocolate? And when the kids understood that they only get chocolate by producing one of those sentences, not both, and one of the sentences leads to no chocolate, they were pretty interested. Curiously, I was teaching a business English class years later, and I gave the same example, and the CEO after our class went off to tell his colleagues, and in great surprise, to give them the same example. Hey guys, what's the difference between do you like and would you like? So these little practical the practical notes. I think you always have to understand what English can do for you, and one of the best motivations is what you can get by using English. So that for me is for anybody in any language, probably you're trying to get something, whether it's information or a product in a shop. So maybe that's sort of automatic, a tautology, but nevertheless, on a very practical level, the kids really have to get it. So things have to be very simple, very effective, and always fun. If a kid wants some more pancakes or something after lunch or for breakfast, you can say, "So, can you eat 1,000,000 pancakes?" And just this kind of exaggeration, and then they learn the word million, and wow, how many is that? So humor is another great, for me, a great factor, a great tool in the teaching process. And on that subject, I would say that it always has to be a process. You can't really be focused too much on the goal, although you have to have it in mind. That's just for the role of the teacher. But for children, it's all about the process. It's just every little step that's got to be fun and interesting. And ideally, it's kind of learning grammar without knowing the word grammar. Ideally, you just present these things so that it's a natural progression. They incorporate it into their language without necessarily getting hung up on the fact that, it's a grammar rule. So it's a little bit like an illusion, I suppose. It kind of happens, but you don't necessarily see it. You don't necessarily see how it works, but it does work. And if you keep it interesting and fun, it will most certainly happen naturally. Kids are the best learners in the world. They're fantastic. They never ask why or how, but maybe they ask how, but not why. They don't dig too much. They just produce. So you have to be a little bit careful about what you say, because sometimes they'll just remember something. So you have to be, responsible with your language, certainly. But that shouldn't be a problem. So what else? Yeah. Well, working with small children. I mean, around the 2-year-old age. Something certainly that interests them or grabs their attention. You just have to say things with a lot of sort of hyperbole, exaggeration, say it with a bit more expression, a bit more emotion, perhaps. 1, 2, 3. They love it, and they'll just repeat it. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the sound of it. Maybe it sounds important. I don't know. But little kids kind of do. They go for that. They'll just repeat things if you say it with expression. But if you don't say it with particular emphasis or exaggeration, they don't necessarily pay attention to it. So it's quite fun just to play to that a little bit. Well, children. I mean, I'm sure there are books and books written on this subject. But generally for the general teaching approach, at least for me, is just to make everything as English oriented as possible. So you put yourself in a position where, if the kids want to do something, whatever it is, they have to go through you and produce English words, sentences, and ideas in a coherent manner. And that takes time. It's difficult to do it. There's no express version, I'm afraid. It just takes, ideally, immersion. Just trying to create an entire English language atmosphere and environment around the student. Which takes time, so there's no shortcut, but it's well worth it. And kids, like I said, are the best learners. So if you sort of set the foundations, get all the pieces of the jigsaw in the right place, and you'll start to see the big picture. And kids are fast learners, so they'll pick it up. Anyway, hopefully a few insights there. Just a quick word, I have absolutely no experience of teaching on Skype. So anybody who does that, well, kudos. It can't be easy, and working with children through a computer screen, I'm quite convinced, is not easy at all. So well done. But hopefully we can all get back to face-to-face work soon. And after, we'll survive the coronavirus, and life will continue as normal after that. So anyway, good luck and best wishes to everyone. And thanks again, Arthur. Be in touch. All the best. Bye.